Okay, so today we are going to be discussing compound verbs and prepositions. Okay, so let's kick things off by thinking about prepositions. Prepositions are effectively little words that usually indicate some kind of direction. So we have three types in Greek. And all of these different prepositions take different cases. So we have prepositions that take the accusative, prepositions that take the genitive, and there are only a handful of prepositions that take the dative. So the ones taking the accusative usually indicate motion towards. These usually indicate motion toward. I mean, that's a very general rule of thumb. I'm not saying it's like that every time, but that should help you remember. So the two most common prepositions that take the accusative are eis, meaning into, and pros, meaning towards. So, for example, if you said, the man walks to the tree, that would be, in fact, let me start again, sorry. The man walks to the tree, ho anthropos, pros to dendron, or actually not walks, runs, treke. The man runs towards the tree, easy. And the same goes for eis. Prepositions that take the genitive, these usually indicate motion away. And the key ones here are apo, literally meaning away from, although the from, you don't always have to mention that, and ek, which means out of, and both of these take the genitive. Also with ek, if it's before a vowel, it will turn into x with a xi. So maybe we'll do an example here. Let's say you wanted to say, the man walks away from the tree. That would be anthropos, apo, to dendru, because remember it's plus the genitive, treke. Sorry, runs, not walks. I keep saying that. And finally, just a little side note, we have dative. And actually the only one you should think about for the time being is n, which means in. So it's not like eis, which means into or onto. N just means in. So that's a key distinction that you need to remember. And that takes the dative. So let's do an example. Let's say I don't know, the man is in the house. So en te oikia hoanthropos estin. Does that make sense? It's plus the dative, so te oikia, because obviously n takes the dative. Let's now focus our attention on compound verbs. Now, compound verbs are also pretty simple. It's basically just when you have a preposition on the front of a verb. On the front of a verb, and so it becomes basically a prefix. So it's just a little word on the front of the verb. So, ekbino, for example. Bino means I go, so therefore ekbino means I go out. It's really that simple. And if I was to say I was going out, that's going to require an augment. So that's literally going to be ek ebinon if we were doing the first person singular. Okay, but ek ebinon, remember how I said that if you have ek and then the next word starts with a vowel, it turns to x. Well, here the augment is effectively that vowel, so it goes, that equals exebinon. Okay? And you may notice that the augment is actually going between the prefix and the verb. That's key. It's always going to go between the prefix and the stem, or the verb. Great. Thanks for watching.